Who's going to go in there and make her remake my sandwich?
Stop.
Nobody.
If you don't stop, you're going to end up going to jail. Stop.
Hancock, Hancock, write it down so
Calm down.
Get in the car. Close the door.
Woman turns McDonald's dispute into chaos from EWU body cam. Welcome back to Attorney Reacts. You got America's Attorney. Let's jump into it.
Hi, I'm at McDonald's. There's a woman in here screaming, yelling, and she's asking me if she's seen in the store. Is it possible for police to come? Yeah, I thought she was going to stay. She said she was going to stay, but now she's leaving. Oh, she said she was going to stay.
The cause of this disturbance is absolutely mind-boggling.
I don't know what. She's mad over a 30-cent piece of cheese that she can't afford. I don't know what's wrong with her.
Eventually, the aggrieved woman exits the store and informing the caller, who is an employee, that she'll be waiting for an officer to resolve the situation. Approximately 1 minute later, Sergeant Todd Stanley, a 22-year veteran of the Butler Township Police Department, arrives on the scene and approaches the woman, later identified as 31-year-old Latika Hancock.
I went through the drive-thru earlier.
Okay.
She refused to take my $1 to give me 30 cents after I paid it for extra cheese.
Okay.
There was a young lady who was very nice, by the way, before I got introduced to this lady in the burgundy.
Okay.
She asked the lady in the burgundy shirt to remake my sandwich. She comes up to the desk, wanted me to pay her another 30 cents. So 49 plus 30 plus 30. For what when I'm not even getting enough pieces of cheese. You only put one on here when I already paid the 49 cents for the extra piece of cheese.
This whole incident began over 30 cents. As Sergeant Stanley keeps talking with the woman, Officer Timothy Zellers arrives on the scene to support his supervisor.
So she gave me a refund. I'm leaving. She started screaming at me, telling me to have a good day and not to come back here. And I said, I won't.
So you didn't say anything. You was a complete angel. Because I'm getting information, you're getting disorderly in the store.
Did.
Okay, all right.
I did.
So here's what's going to happen. You've been made whole, right? You got your money back.
You pulled up. I didn't want you to have to chase me
So
down
here's
the
what we're
street.
going to do. They want you trespass. They don't.
Who cares?
Just listen.
Legally speaking, though she's no longer inside the restaurant, if McDonald's owns or leases the lot where the woman is speaking with officers, then she can be trespassed from it.
She can be guilty of trespass from the time that they tell her you need to leave, a reasonable time to leave the property. Now, if she's waiting for law enforcement on the property, she's just not committing trespass at that point. She's not. So if they ask her to leave and there's a delay that's unreasonable, meaning more than getting your purse, more than collecting your belongings, then that could be trespass. Waiting in the parking lot for the police, period, not trespass. You're not guilty at that point.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's a McDonald's.
They don't want
can't
you.
even
There's
do
one
it right.
on every corner.
Customers are right. Thank you.
Okay.
I won't come back
Does this car come back to you?
No, it does not.
Okay. Can I get a driver's license number or something from you, or name and date of birth?
I don't have one.
Well, I'm going to issue a trespass notice, and I have to fill out a piece of paper.
I can care less.
Okay.
What you're
I just need some information.
No.
The sergeant threatens to arrest Ms. Hancock for failure to provide this information, and the encounter continues to escalate.
You're going to make it more difficult than it has to be.
If you arrest me, I promise you, you're going to have a problem.
I won't have a problem.
Yes, you will.
No.
No.
I won't have a problem.
Not over a sandwich. Not over a sandwich.
All I want to do is give you a piece of paper.
You have to
What? There's so many McDonald's out here. What?
We're okay.
The road.
Now you're getting disorderly.
As Sergeant Stanley searches through his trunk for a trespass notice, Officer Zellers picks up the conversation with Ms. Hancock. Technically, she's being arrested for failure to identify herself and not for being angry and shouting about the sandwich issue. According to Ohio code, no person who is in a public place shall refuse to disclose their name, address, or date of birth when requested by a law enforcement officer who reasonably suspects the person is committing.
And this rule here is not just unique to Ohio. This is in pretty much any state. They can't ask you to identify yourself unless they reasonably suspect you to have committed an offense. And this is like the most minor trespassing offense. And I'm not saying that she did do it or didn't do it. I mean, you know that I don't think that she did. But if they reasonably suspect that she did, then they are allowed to ask her for this information, and she is required by law to give it.
Committed or is about to commit a criminal offense. Therefore, Ms. Hancock is required to identify herself.
Who's going to go in there and make her remake my sandwich?
Stop.
Nobody.
If you don't stop, you're going to end up going to jail. Stop.
Hancock, Hancock, write it down so I
Calm
can go.
down.
No, because you're not about to act like that over a sandwich she didn't make right.
Stop. You don't need to go to jail over this.
Exactly. me.
Okay, so
That's
calm
what I'm
down.
saying. Like over a sandwich.
You're making us your enemy.
The encounter continues to escalate. Unfortunately, there's no going back. Ms. Hancock has already violated the law by failing to identify herself when she was asked initially. Once you satisfy by your actions or inactions the elements of a crime, the crime has been committed. You cannot uncommit a crime.
It's missing every day, though.
That's true and not true at the same time. That's a little misleading because if she then identifies herself, if the delay was immaterial, then she's not guilty of the crime. And so the cops can de-escalate this. They can.
Coming for me over a burger? Y'all, it's too much.
You're not leaving until you identify yourself.
Bruh,
She already did.
You better calm down.
I'm
She
not
already
giving you
did.
nothing. I already said it.
Okay, you're under arrest.
No,
Put your hands
I'm
behind your
not.
back.
This is so problematic. She did identify herself. She spelled her last name. I'm pretty sure she said her first name too. But once they tell you you're under arrest, you are. Even if it's illegal. Even if it's stupid. Oh, jeez, people!
Hands behind your back.
No, I'm not.
You are under arrest for failure to identify.
Don't
Put your hands.
Okay, my last name is Hancock. I
Put your
already
hands
told you that.
behind your
No,
back.
I don't want to.
So now
for real.
she's
It's
resisting.
Latika. I'm telling you. Why would you do that? Okay, I'm saying okay.
You're gonna get paid.
Okay. I said okay.
Hands behind your back.
Sorry,
Put
I said
your
okay.
hands.
Okay,
No,
okay.
stop.
I'm gonna get down. Can I please
Up against the
just
car.
have my-
Up against the car. Up against the car.
Oh my God. Why would you punch me?
Neither officer's body cams caught the punch. Footage shows two officers attempting to subdue Ms. Hancock. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, one officer delivers 3 punches to her face and head.
It didn't have to even be this way.
Can I just please go home now?
No, you're going to jail.
Come on.
Please, can I go home?
Come on.
Please? Are you okay? My name is Latika.
Latika, it didn't have to be this way, Latika.
I'm sorry. Please.
It didn't have to be this way.
Trying to place Latika in the patrol car proves to be a struggle.
This is not a debate.
Okay, I'm going.
No, get in the car.
Sir, okay.
Get in the car. In the car.
I'm going to.
No, you're not. Stop arguing.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking.
Get in the car.
Why am I like this? I'm a sandwich.
Close the door.
You
After Latika is detained, Officer Zellers remains with her while paramedics assess her injuries. Sergeant Stanley, meanwhile, goes into the McDonald's to have the manager sign the trespass order. The following conversation is shocking.
I hate stupid people. Yeah, but you didn't see me thrown down, did you?
I couldn't see around the edge of the car. I just saw that she was fighting you, and then you had to hit her, and then you both had to kick her arms back and
Yeah.
up against the car.
Okay. Huh?
You gotta ask her.
hit by Mike Tyson.
No, I did the hitting.
Right.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I said you could have got tased or punched in the mouth. What would you rather have?
The pride in Sergeant Stanley's voice
Oh my word! How did this not show up in the body cam footage? This is so insane!
here at the end is
That's how it
truly
is.
disturbing, as is the claim by the shift manager that the officers had to hit her. More on
Unbelievable.
this later as Sergeant Stanley continues conversing with the McDonald's employees.
You want to hear the best part about it? I'm going to write her a traffic ticket for no driver's license, too. There you go.
Sergeant Stanley is well within his right to charge her with this under Section 4510.12 of the Ohio Revised Code. However, it's clear his doing so stems from his anger in the altercation, rather than any desire to uphold the law. After returning to his patrol car, Sergeant Stanley and the McDonald's manager are still talking about the encounter when a paramedic shows up to give him an update on Latika's injuries.
Well, you know, we try to be as... I don't want to hurt her.
Right.
Okay? She started pulling away, so I punched her in the mouth and blooded her up. She cooperated then.
Yeah.
I'm hot, so I'm not afraid to say what I got to say.
Yeah.
But that took the wind. She was going to get tased or she's going to get that. That took the wind out of her sails. And anything, what do you think? Did they make any assessment?
Yeah, they already got it cleaned up.
Okay, just cleaned her out. No stitches, nothing like that. Superficial.
Yes, sir.
When Sergeant Stanley entered Ms. Hancock's vehicle after her arrest, he noticed a 12-ounce can of Monaco Citrus Rush on the floorboard. He would write in his narrative that when he arrived on the scene, he noticed a hint of alcoholic beverage on her breath. It's also interesting to note that the paramedic who spoke to Sergeant Stanley claimed Latika's injuries were superficial. This contradicts what the paramedic who examined Latika had to say.
I just need to see in your mouth real quick, make sure there's no teeth broken. Go ahead and smile real big for me.
I mean, it feels like the big one right here.
Yeah,
It feels loose.
it might be.
Latika's lawyer would later claim that several of her front teeth were loose, and she had a closed head injury, as well as a back injury from her arrest. After the paramedics head out, Officer Zellers has a terse conversation with the detained woman.
I'm going to come back there in a minute.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this very nicely. You're going to get out. I'm going to reposition your handcuffs because they're not on correctly, and I'm sure that hurts. You're not going to give me any bull.
No, I just figured this out.
Because, listen, after that, if you give me bull, I'm going to tase your ass.
Before he can do so, however, he checks in with Sergeant Stanley to make sure he can transport Latika to the county jail.
I need to get everything out of her pockets, everything, and readjust her cuffs.
No. Just get her down to the jail.
Just get her down there and do it there.
Yeah, we're not catered to her after what she did.
Oh, this is so broken. These guys are so off track. This is insane. Listen, the rules that govern how people are to be handcuffed and the safety precautions so they don't get injured are not conditional on whether or not you've had a pleasant arresting experience of them. This is insane. These guys are just so vindictive. Completely over the top.
Well, are you going to loosen the cuffs at least?
As soon as we get down there.
Well, I thought you said you were.
Here's the difference. She is my boss, right? And I just talked to him about that, and he said not after all the resisting that you put us through, he's not willing to risk you resisting again.
Latika Hancock was booked on 2 criminal charges: failure to disclose personal information and resisting arrest. She was also cited for driving without a license and having an open alcoholic beverage in a motor vehicle. After community outrage, Sergeant Stanley was placed on administrative leave. In early April 2023, he was charged with misdemeanor assault. The sergeant voluntarily retired from the Butler Township Police Department on May 1st. Despite initially asking for a jury trial, Stanley and his lawyers opted for a bench trial. Here is how the sergeant reconstructed the altercation in his report. I tried to push Hancock against the hood of my police vehicle with my body weight. She pushed back. I heard Officer Zellers warning Hancock that she was about to be tasered if she did not stop resisting and comply. Hancock was wearing a thick coat, and I did not think the taser probes would have been effective. I used my right hand, and with an open hand palm strike, I struck Hancock on the right side of the face near her mouth. This immediately took the fight out of Hancock. We were able to get control of both of her hands, and we were able to get her handcuffed. It appears that rather than being open, Stanley's hand is clenched in a fist. It also appears that at least 2 blows struck Ms. Hancock, not just one. The presiding judge took less than an hour to find Sergeant Stanley guilty of assault. Stanley was ordered to pay a $500 fine, undergo a 60-day electronic monitoring program, and 2 years probation. He will also be responsible for covering all treatment related to Ms. Hancock's injuries. Speaking to the media after sentencing, Ms. Hancock's attorney said he and his client were considering filing a civil suit against Sergeant Stanley and the Butler Township Police Department. It's interesting to note that though Sergeant Stanley was placed on administrative leave after the incident, as mentioned previously, the Butler Township PD didn't fire him, despite the assault.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous. Wow, man. Sergeant is guilty, obviously. He pled guilty criminally, and the burden of proof in a criminal trial is beyond a reasonable doubt, right? If she goes forward with a lawsuit against him and against the Butler Police Department, the standard of proof or the burden of proof is just a preponderance of the evidence. So like beyond a reasonable doubt, let's say is like 98%. Preponderance of the evidence is just 50.1%, right? Just barely over 50%. He's guilty of the battery, which through the doctrine of respondeat superior, the Butler Police Department is guilty of it. And they're also guilty of negligent supervision and negligent training. Man, I'm so glad that the injuries that she sustained were just limited to those that they described in the videos. It could have been so much worse. This woman is powerless in this situation. Remember, she wasn't attacking them. She didn't want to be arrested. Well, that's wrong. You're not supposed to arrest. But this is not a reasonable amount of force, and they are so far beyond the bounds of reason to treat her in this way. If the video from post-punching inside the McDonald's were played to a jury in a trial against him and the police department, I would like to think that a jury of reasonable people would really return a gigantic verdict. That's what I'd like to think. If you disagree with me or you think there's something that I missed, get down below in the comments and let me know. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We post videos all the time. You should subscribe. Check these out. I'll see you soon.
Big verdict.